From downtown Scranton, this is Northeast Current. WQPX invites you to join us as we explore public affairs, current events, and arts and culture in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Now let's meet today's guests on Northeast Current.
Welcome to Northeast Current. I'm your host today, Bernie Mayapolsky, for a special, very, very special edition of Northeast Current. It's going to be our last show for a while here, and we have a special guest, Marty, Davey, who is the vegan dietitian. And we're going to have so much, you know my friend Chevy Chase, how he, as he said, we're going to have so much bleeping fun. We're going to be whistling zippity-doo-dah out of our bleeps. So, let's get started, shall we? Marty.
Yes.
Welcome to Northeast Current. We're
Thank
so
you.
happy to have you here today. We actually set up, we have our sets a little bit different today. So we're going to have a ton of fun, right? So first tell us about you.
Well, I'm a registered dietitian, and I actually got my degree from Marywood, my master's degree in food and dietetics at Marywood. And I have a very long background in film and television. So when I became a dietitian, one of the ideas that I had was to turn nutrition into being something kind of fun. Personally, I may not be that fun, but but I have a private practice, and so it's what I do is I have a private practice and in the Poconos, and I take insurance for that, and I help a lot of people out. I also work for a diabetes program. It is called E4 Diabetes Solutions, and we work virtually, like online,
Like
with
you
people.
don't virtually work, you
Yeah,
actually
virtually.
work. But
Yeah,
virtually.
it's kind of like, yeah, okay, I'll get my pajamas
like I'm
off.
virtually working now.
And we work with people all over the world. So, which is really kind of exciting, except when you have someone like in Australia and you've got to figure out what time in the middle of the night you have to be up. But other than that, that's kind of what I do. I have spent 7 years working with kids in Philadelphia that had behavioral challenges, and they were at a residential treatment facility. So I have a long background with diabetics and also working with kids. And I also work...
You help them through diet?
Yeah. Because
So
they
like
might
cake,
have...
cookies, M&Ms and stuff like that?
Well, yeah.
Yeah? Nutella sandwiches on white bread? Is that it?
That's it. That's it.
No, maybe not.
The other thing is I also help them with stuff like, let's say that they, you know, we have a diabetes issue with children nowadays, or we have a lot of kids with eating disorders, or they may have hypertension. I mean, we're finding that
In children?
In children, kids between the ages of like 14 and 18, that's the largest trend of people having heart attacks. I mean,
Heart
as far
attacks?
as, yeah.
14 to 18, they have heart attacks? I have no idea.
I know, it was really it was very shocking to me.
I almost had a heart attack when she told me that.
So I spent 7 years doing that, and now I'm just kind of working for myself, which is really great.
Why is that? I mean, their diets are so bad that they're literally having heart attacks?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you have, I had a kid that came in, and his mom said he really likes KFC. He really.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay,
yeah,
right, yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically what she thought we were going to feed him. Like we would go out and get KFC every night for kids.
That's as a dietitian. Oh, basically you're
they
going to
thought
feed
we were
it.
going to do.
Yeah.
And so, to me, it's kind of interesting that you get these palettes that are, you know, I mean, they're very fast food oriented.
Right.
So the place dealt with kids that have behavioral issues, so we really couldn't have them go off. And plus, they're in a residential.
I mean, I guess if you
facility.
eat KFC and junk all day, you could have a behavioral issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you give me a couple of M&Ms right now, you might see a problem.
Absolutely. So that was one of the things that I looked at. But one of the other things was that the principal, we had a small school for them because we want them to continue their education, said, well, can you start teaching a culinary class? And so I did. And that really was kind of fun, and it kept me real honest and kept me really clear about how do you teach someone how to cut something who's never actually picked up a knife. Or the last time they did, it was, you know, against someone in their family.
Right.
So, so that was a really great experience working with those kind of kids and being clear about this is a tool that we're using and honoring them, like, you know, taking them very seriously.
Yeah.
And so I never had a problem in the class.
I imagine you make your, I know for kids when you make it yourself, it might not be, you know, it's like, ugh, I don't want to eat that, but oh, I made it myself. You know, they would try it more.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We have a lot of studies with that, and there's people that are working with a lot of kids in the Bronx and stuff that have come up with research where we just know that if you bring the kid into the kitchen and you say, okay, we're all going to try to do this together, then they have the tactile experience of working with the food and how do I really make it happen, and they're much more interested in it.
Right.
And I think that's really, I mean, that's...
It's like artistic, I think. You know, it's like you let me have this stuff, let's see what I can make out of it.
Exactly, exactly. And the kind of interesting thing that happens is you say, well, okay, just try a bite of it, right? And then they make something really bizarre, and then they say to you, okay, just try it.
Yeah, like peanut butter without a mustard or something.
Right. Well, I also have people say to me, oh, it's so expensive. And I have to say that when I was getting my master's degree, I realized that they don't give you $1 million to go get a master's degree. And at one point, I was feeding a family of 3 on $35 to $50 a week. And
that must have been in the 20s. She's like 156 years old.
But
She eats so good.
I look
She
great
looks
for
great.
156.
I mean, that's the thing.
And it just meant that everything I bought had to be a nutritious food. Because I had a small child at home. And, you know, so I
you
had
have to cook it. You can't just get in a package.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that you get really smart on, you know, foods and what are you going to buy and, you know, what's the biggest nutrition bang for the calorie buck.
Right.
So it was a good learning experience for me to be able to do that, because that means that the people that I work with, I have another tool in my toolbox to pull out and say, well, okay, this is the way you eat. This is your, you know, this is where your money is. That's okay. Where do you shop? And when I talk to people, because I go to their homes, I mean, we go through their kitchen and you know, where do you shop? What do you do? What's your budget like? And so you can get really specific on how can I help you within your lifestyle. It's not just, here's your diet plan, thanks for sharing.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have all this life experience, now you've translated it into a business where you coach and you train people. You even told me before you train coaches.
Yeah, I work with Main Street Vegan Life Coach Academy, and they're in Manhattan, and I teach the nutrition aspect of that. So I am teaching people how to talk about food as well as teaching them about basic nutrition. And the nutrition I'm teaching them is vegan nutrition, because that, as far as I can tell, in working with people, is about the healthiest I can get. There are some people who are real raw fooders, and you know, I'm certainly not knocking raw fooders, but if someone's taking steps,
don't go from like eating everything in KFC all day to eating raw food.
It's hard.
Probably a recipe for it's not going to work.
It's not going to happen. In 2 weeks, you're kind of like, I'm done.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. So that's.
So you also have a couple books.
I do.
You wrote a couple books. You have tell us about your books.
Okay. Well, the first one that I wrote is this book. It's called You're Not Dead Yet. And the reason I have it like this, and I don't really have like a hard copy to show you, is because it's an ebook. And I was really specific on why I wanted to create an ebook. Because the fact that, first of all, I could put in a lot of goofy pictures of my family. This is my family trying to figure out what they're going to make for dinner. But the other thing is that obviously I read a lot of nutrition books, or like Diet of the Week book. And what happens is that you read something, you go, wow, folate's great, man, how do I get folate into my system? And you finish the book and maybe it has recipes in it, but like, I don't know. So I thought, why don't I make it really easy? And I wrote it with this gal who you're going to meet, LaDiva Dietitian. And she wrote all the recipes for it. So what happens is that you finish a chapter, whatever the chapter is, and at the end of the chapter, there are 3 recipes by LaDiva Dietitian, and you can just click on one of them, that looks of interest, and it brings you right to the recipe. Now, this is the groovy thing. Let's say you're a kitchen newbie. I know that you are not a kitchen newbie. But if you were, and you're like, oh, okay, this actually only has 2 ingredients in it, so I figure most people can make it.
I still like that idea. I might only have 2 ingredients in my refrigerator.
And one doesn't necessarily have to be a light bulb. The thing is that if you look for this, and you can't figure it out, you click on the martini glass at the bottom of the page, it brings you to a video of LaDiva making the dish. So you guys can, cook right along, and you can get different tips from her about maybe how to make it a little bit easier and stuff like that.
So that's an ebook, and you could get that obviously online at your website.
Right, which is LaDivaDietitian.com.
LaDivaDietitian.com.
And
Got a rhythm to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
LaDivaDietitian.com.
Okay. My latest book is LaDiva Dietitian does a monthly, kind of like a public outreach, a healthy cooking demo in Stroudsburg at the farmers market. So we compiled all of those recipes together into this recipe book. And what's kind of cool about this recipe book is that it has local flavors in it. So you're going to find things like, that are specific to here, like most of the sweetener is going to be maple syrup. And then there's a garlic vinegar that a person makes in Stroudsburg.
So things you can find at the farmer's market.
Things you can find at the farmer's market itself. So that's what's really kind of cool. This is melt the belly fat recipes.
Melt the belly fat recipes.
And exercises.
And exercises.
When you do conferences, they'll ask you, send me 3 titles or 5 titles or something like that, so that they can kind of fit people together in different aspects in a whole conference. And so I challenged myself because they said 5, and I said, okay. So I had 3 presentations ready to rock, and I thought, all right, I'm gonna throw 2 things in there. And so I wrote one up, and this is when I was working at the lodge at Woodlock. Someone had just said to me, why do I have stubborn belly fat when I do 1 million crunches a day? And I thought, that's perfect. I'll write that down. Well, at the conference, that's the one they picked. And I had nothing. I mean, this was a joke. So I had to go find...
Make a whole thing.
Yeah, I had to go find trainers, and I had to go to a couple yogis and ask them about, how do you do this? And then I had to develop recipes. So I did that for the presentation. And then people kept asking me about recipes and how do you do the exercises. So I put together a book for that.
So if you do 1 million crunches a day, you need more than that.
You need to do something different because you're actually strengthening your back, and that's what doesn't happen with crunches.
Who's this person you wrote the book with?
LaDiva Dietitian.
LaDiva Dietitian. I think we're going to meet her today as well.
We are.
Is that right?
Right.
All right. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back with LaDiva Dietitian. Don't go away.
Years ago, when my mom was diagnosed with lung cancer, she had very few places to turn. Today, there are improved treatment options, but 30% of all patients don't know about them. Visit standuptocancer.org/lungcancer to learn more.
Welcome back to Northeast Current. I'm Bernie Mayapolsky. I don't know where Marty went, but I think we're having a special guest coming in any minute now. Look at this.
Scranton! Okay, come on, we're going to dance.
I have to dance?
Ready to dance. Ready? Here we go. Wiggle, Bernie. You're not wiggling. There you go. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Okay, back strong. Okay, Tony. Okay, round. Ah!
Oh my gosh, how about that? We're here with the queen of everything, LaDiva Dietitian.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hello, Scranton. Lovely to see you. Okay.
So what's going to happen here?
A little morning pick-me-up. Okay. Great. All right. So now we're going to do something. Yeah, we're going to do something really exciting. We're going to be making some food because you guys had to listen to the blah 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 blah. I don't know, whatever Marty talks about. Anyway, so now let's make some really healthy food that'll keep your girlish or boyish figures. Okay, here we go.
All right. Okay.
And you're going to help me, Bernie.
Okay.
Okay, great.
All right, you come back here?
Yes. Okay. Now, I'm going to start with one of the most frightening things on the American marketplace.
I feel like Matt Lauer.
That's right. We've got to get this done in less than 2 minutes. Okay. I'm going to start with silken tofu. That's right.
No?
Scary, very scary.
No, it's good.
It is. It is.
Okay.
And I really love it when people look and they go, when I'm going to do something with this. Now, Bernie, I know that you cook.
Yeah.
So when you are going to make a big, like nice dinner for you and your friend, and maybe your friend has friends, then what do you start with?
If I was going to make a big dinner?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I make some fish or some pasta or something like that.
Okay. I always start with dessert.
Oh, geez.
And I'll tell you why. Because when your friend's going to come over, you're going to have a martini, or maybe you're going to have a glass of wine, and then you guys are going to eat, and you're having another glass of wine or something, and then everybody's supposed to have dessert. And then everyone ends up in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Everybody ends up in the kitchen as opposed to relaxing in the dining room. Or you've been making all this food and everybody's showing up and, oh my God, I didn't have time to make dessert, and then you have somebody go out and get some crappy cookies. So I always start with dessert. And we're going to be making some fabulous chocolate pudding.
With tofu?
All right. With tofu. It's really simple. Okay.
It never dawned on me that you can do that.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do this really quickly. We don't get to do all of it, but I know you guys at home are really smart, so you'll figure it out. The first thing you do is you take your silken tofu and you stick it in your food processor. And to me, a food processor, absolute must-have is the food processor.
Looks like you've had that one in a little while.
I have.
Must be your lucky food processor.
It is my lucky food processor.
Right.
So you get a non-dairy chocolate chip, and you put it into your, and obviously it's not going to be in plastic, it's going to be in a glass bowl. But you put this into your microwave, start off at 2 minutes, and then do it 15 seconds every
2
time
minutes,
after.
take it out and stir it a little?
Stir it. Well, actually, you don't stir it. All you do is you shake it.
Just shake it up.
Okay, this is the magic way to find out if it's done. You shake it, and if you hear those kind of rolling around, that means that you don't have melted chocolate. So you put it back in and put it for 15.
Okay.
Now, this is a little non-dairy milk. I use soy milk because I think it's creamy, and it works really well. So we just pour that in here.
Okay.
Oh, and you guys have the link to all of these recipes.
Okay.
All right, this is a little maple syrup, Pennsylvania.
Virgin maple syrup?
I don't know it that
Never
well.
been. Oh,
I don't know. I didn't ask.
We don't know its history.
Didn't ask, don't tell. You know what I mean?
It's all right.
Okay. So we're going to put that in here. And then we're going to make this a little teeny tiny bit Mexicana type. And we're going to put a little bit of cinnamon in it.
Cinnamon is Mexicana?
Yeah.
I'm learning all kind of things
Yeah,
today.
you do the Tex-Mex thing with it. It's really,
right.
it's very yummy. It really picks up the flavor. Okay, and then we're going to put in, it's here, I just got to find it, vanilla. And it's always important to measure perfectly. That's exactly enough.
Perfect measurement.
Okay, good. Now, before you bring out your chocolate chips.
I have one just like that, by the way. It's similar. It's like, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what you do is you make sure that this is all together. Okay. So
doesn't matter how long it blends, it can blend together.
Right.
Some things you just want to go quick, but that you can
this
do, it's
one,
fine.
yeah, and the more you let it blend, the more it's going to incorporate air, and it's going to be more like a mousse.
Oh, okay.
But it won't have antlers. Okay. Oh, the jokes don't get any better. The jokes don't get any better. I'm just telling you. Okay. Just in case you thought they did. All right, so then what we do is we take our chocolate chips, and I'm just going to put these in here for grins and giggles.
Maybe it'll be good like that.
It actually is not bad. You add a little bit more sugar and you add a little bit more vanilla, and what you end up with is almost something like a cookies and cream. All right, so, I mean, not that I've ever made that mistake before. Okay. And you let it whip around. Okay. Now we're pretending, oh, this was perfect. It was made perfectly. Okay, so then what it looks and tastes like.
Wait, that's it?
That's it.
After you melt the chocolate, that's it?
That's it.
Tofu
now you put it into
and
you put it into your refrigerator for 30 minutes, and you end up with this really fabulous dessert.
It's probably pretty healthy, right? I can imagine, you know, there's some sugar in it, but it's not so bad.
Really, it's not too bad.
A little bit of chocolate.
I'm looking for. Here it is.
Killed anybody?
I knew I brought it. Okay.
That's what
This I brought for you. So here you go. You get to taste it.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Very good.
Now you can put a little espresso powder in it, or you can add a little cocoa powder if it's not chocolatey enough. It's fabulous. And this, okay, you can add a little bit more vanilla. If you write to me, LaDivaDietitian.com, I will send you my top 10 recipes. And the vanilla cream, oh my God. Yeah, isn't it great?
And
It's
there's
so
a certain
simple.
kind of tofu you said you have to use.
Yes.
You can't use the...
You can't. Hi, I'm back. You have to use silken tofu. Do not use any other type. I started
That's the brand or the style?
That's the style.
Oh, silken. Okay.
Silken, because people end up with a
Rhymes with
slimy. They end up with a slimy, or they ended up with a very gritty tofu experience. And
silken tofu.
Silken tofu. Oh, look at this. This is so. I love this. Okay. Woo! Okay, it flies. But you put it on top of your bowl, Look at this.
Come on, I don't know. I'm afraid.
Okay.
But it seems to work.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, and you guys
Right.
know these bowls, right? You know that
Yeah.
there's the blue one, the red one, the green one, and the big yellow one, okay? So I know you guys are old enough to remember that. All right, so I know you young whippersnapper. Okay, so the thing is, though, we want to make it healthy. So there's a few things that I start off with to make it really healthy. And I get a mix. Now, all these different colors in here, all these different colors have different antioxidants in them and other goobies that are really fabulous nutrition stuff that Marty talks about that's like blah, 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 boring. But the other thing that I like, it tastes really great. There are a lot of different textures in it, okay? So, everyone loves kale now.
Kale.
Okay, but if you took a whole bunch of this and you just put it on top of there, it's going to have a real kale flavor. So what you want to do is you want to massage your kale. So Bernie, you and I are going to massage kale together. Okay, so you take a little citrus. You can use lemon or lime, whatever your heart desires. I like lime because I like margaritas. Okay, here's your bowl. So you put it where you can reach easily. I'm going to put a little on mine. Here we go.
And I have to massage it somewhere
And
I
you
can reach easily.
massage it.
All right.
And you massage. Oh yeah, I can feel your tense right there. I can tell. It's so tense. And then you just kind of talk to it, make it feel better. You don't really need to use lava lamps or anything like that. Just kind of rubbing it like this works well enough. Okay. Just leave this for like a half an hour. And it will continue to break down because it's an acid.
You
it will
need the
continue
juice
to break
to do
down.
it, right? You can't
Yes.
just massage it without the juice.
And you could do it with vinegar if you wanted to
gotcha.
also.
So I want to get acid into
so
it
now
and
you can put
massage
that
it.
in there. Okay.
Okay.
So now we have that, and it's all happy.
Okay.
And then we're going to make a dressing. And we're going to make this fabulous dressing. It's going to be interesting, though, because we should have hot water, but we don't. So we're just going to bang a left. Okay, love that. All right, so we're going to put a little H2O in it.
Okay.
Not that H2O. We're going to put a little different H2O in it.
Can't put some of that vodka in there, no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll do this. A little vodka, vodka and Cocoa Puffs every morning.
And what is that? Did I jump the gun, or was I not supposed to ask? Sorry.
This is cashew butter. I'm going to have
It's a
you grate the
microplane,
ginger.
right?
So all you do is you hold this over a bowl. Oops. And got it?
A microplane.
Go for it. Because that's your part.
Little tiny people flying on the little plane here.
That's right. Small people play.
How much do I need to grate this whole thing?
No.
Right till it comes
no,
onto
a
my
little
fingers?
Bit. You're almost done.
I'm almost done already.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. We only need like a teaspoon. So you're good. You're good.
Okay.
And if you turn it over, you'll see.
Whoa.
See that? Yeah. It's really fast.
Look at all that.
Really
Okay.
fast. Okay, so I put some cranberries in here. Okay, because
Cranberries.
really high in antioxidants will
Okay.
help you with
We hate
colds.
oxidants. We anti them all
We
the
don't.
time.
We are very antioxidant.
We're against them completely.
And also, here are some pomegranate seeds.
Oh, those are good for you.
I know, they're good for you and they taste yummy. Oh, you know what they're really good in? Is that chocolate stuff.
Oh, I bet.
They really are.
You
Just
gotta, there's a
go on.
tool they make to go, but there's a lot of work to get all those
I
little seeds out.
know.
But the tool works good.
The tool does work well. Okay, so now we're going to have a little bit of salt. Now, I mean a little bit of sugar. And people
Sugar.
tell me all the time, sugar, I'm going to die. But I use agave nectar. Okay, all that stuff hits your body at the same rate, so it kind
Right.
of doesn't matter. And we're putting in some sugar because of the fact that we've got these, cranberries in
cranberries are
there.
bitter, right.
Yeah, the cranberries are going to be like really bitter. Ick. I mean, they're good. They're very tart, and I like them. But you want
You need a little sugar to
you
break
need
it.
a little sweetness.
It won't kill you if
will.
you use it in moderation.
No, it
Right.
won't. Okay. So now we're just going to put our lid on it. Which I have to get it just right.
What are we making again?
We are making a cranberry cashew dressing.
Oh, the dressing, right.
Okay. So here we go. Oh, this is
What
great.
is this thing?
This is so cool. Okay, one of the things you don't know about me is that LaDiva Dietitian loves her immersion blenders.
Oh, okay.
And what's really cool is that, let's say you're just a single person, or there's just two of you or something.
It's good for
And
single people.
okay, I thought this was a morning show. Okay, so and so you don't want to buy a big food processor because you're thinking, well, I'm not going to use that.
I know,
Well, if
clean
you
that
get
whole thing. Right.
you get an immersion blender,
Okay.
or sometimes they're called stick blenders. You get attachments with it, and this is one of them. And this works like a food processor.
So I would have the hot water in there, the cashew butter that I already made, and then the cranberries and a little bit of sugar.
Yep.
And the ginger.
And the ginger. And the ginger's really important. It tastes really yummy. So you're going to grab your utensils. and you're going to toss it. Now in France, they will decide how marriageable you are on how well you can toss a salad. But you should toss a salad for, okay, obviously I'm a career girl. You should toss a salad for about 30 seconds to a minute. And that way you can use just a tablespoon of dressing for something this size. Also, because you've had some nuts, nuts are really great in fats. So this is a way that you can have nuts and seeds. They're diluted, so you're not getting a ton of fat, but you're also getting the good fats that you need with all of the mambo combo that comes in a nut. Okay, so you want to give this a shot? Give it a try?
Yeah, give me some of that business there.
Okay, I'm going to try to get you a smaller piece.
See how marriageable you are.
Forget about it.
Good, I think she's a keeper.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Catch. She's a real catch.
The last thing we're going to do.
Toss a salad.
The last thing we're going to do is we're going to make soup. Now, this is soup season. Now, I have on my YouTube channel every month, I make 4 video recipes, and they're free. You can go onto my YouTube channel and you get them. And my YouTube channel is LaDiva Dietitian. All right, so what I did here was I soaked 2 cups of beans overnight, and these are black beans. This is butternut squash.
That's good stuff.
Okay, because my soups are generally what in the heck is left in my refrigerator.
That's what
So here's some mushrooms, and here's a sweet potato, and just some onions, because you need onions, right?
You need them.
But LaDiva, aren't you going to like lose all those nutrients that die when you put them in heat?
Aren't you going to do that when the nutrients go into heat?
I'm so glad you asked me that question. And I just put a little bit of corn that I cut off a cob in the summertime, and I just stuck it in my freezer. No, well, yes, you're going to lose some of the nutrients that are like vitamin C and that are heat sensitive. But the other thing is that when you cook stuff in here, all of the minerals like zinc, calcium, iodine, iron, all that stuff, it stays here, okay? So you're getting all that stuff right in your little pot. Fab. If you like spicy, then just stick with the smoked chipotle. This is some smoked paprika. Okay. So I like the smoked paprika, and I just split it. But if you like really spicy, then just stick with the smoked chipotle. This is a little bit of cayenne to give it a little kick. And then one of my favorite things, which is cumin. Yay, team. Now, this.
What's that?
This is better than bouillon. And I really like this. The last thing I'm going to put in here is a guajillo pepper. This is, do you know, have you ever used a programmable pressure cooker?
Oh, it's a pressure cooker.
Pressure cooker.
No.
Okay, this is a programmable pressure cooker. It's called an Instant Pot. And these are fabulous. It's done in 28 minutes. I don't know, it's 5 o'clock somewhere,
later.
Isn't it?
Yeah. It's like chunky. I could eat with a fork.
Oh, but use the spoon.
I'll use the
You'll
spoon.
want to get every drop.
Oh, is that how it went? Delicious. I guess we'll bid our audience adieu.
We will.
We may not see you again, so I hope you enjoyed this show.
I
I wish we could have Regina come out and just say goodbye. And no, she won't come out? Well, I would like to thank Regina. Would you like to thank Regina? Northeast Pennsylvania would like to thank Regina for 15 years of fabulous television.
And I'll see you guys March 25th at my intensive.
Yes, exactly. Party on. 2017, episode 1.
Oh, I know what it is. Never mind.
And now we're done. And now, remember that Gunther, or whatever's that.
Yeah, Gunther, yeah.
And now we're done.
Done. Yeah, good. Okay,
You
good.
can't see her, that's right? She doesn't want you to see her.
Right, because I'm going to come in dancing.
Okay. Costume malfunction.
We had a wardrobe malfunction.